when I took the class of calcium estimation. You have done that class, no? All of you all, you know calcium estimation topic. Okay. So today we'll do albumin estimation. Okay, albumin estimation. By what method? Bromocresol green method, BCG method. Okay. So calcium we did by what method? OCPC method. This is what method? BCG method. Bromocresol green method. Okay, there's no too much of difference between the two procedures, almost same. I'll tell you, explain you. Simple topic, okay. Aim to determine the albumin in the given sample by BCG method. Simple, as you have known. Now, like the OCPC complex, you will be provided with the BCG dye in this one. What dye? BCG dye. You will be provided with the bromocresol green dye. In place of OCPC, you will be provided with BCG dye, bromocresol green dye in the albumin kit itself. Now what you will do? Principle is very important. Albumin binds with this BCG dye in buffer medium to give what complex? To give a green colored albumin BCG complex. Okay, simple. Principle is clear. And then the intensity of the color of the complex is directly proportional to the amount of albumin present in the given sample. Clear? Clear? Okay, principle clear all of you. Aim and principle you have done. Aim is to determine the albumin in the given sample. Principle is what? By BCG method. Principle is what? Albumin binds with the BCG in a buffer medium to give a green colored albumin BCG complex. The intensity of the complex, the color of the complex is directly proportional to the amount of albumin that is present in the sample. Clear? Okay. This is the equation. Albumin plus BCG in buffered medium will give you green albumin BCG complex. Simple and clear? Any doubt till now? Okay. Now we'll move to the procedure part. Here we have two reagents. In calcium we had how many reagents? 3 reagents we had in calcium, no? L1, L2 and calcium standard. Here we only have 2 reagents. L1 is the BCG reagent and L2 is the albumin standard. Okay. Now same again. Blank, standard and test. We'll take 3 test tubes. One is blank, one is standard and another is test. In blank one and in standard, in all the 3 we will put 1 ml of BCG L1 reagent in all the 3. 1 ml of L1 reagent in all the 3 test tubes of blank, standard and test. Okay, clear? Any doubt? We'll take 3 test tubes. You'll be given with 2 reagents, L1 and the albumin standard, and you will put 1 ml of both the reagents in all the 3 test tubes of blank, standard and test. Clear up to this much? Now second step. Second step is what? 10 microliter of distilled water in blank, 10 microliter of albumin standard in the standard test tube, and 10 microliter of the sample that will be provided to you in the sample test tube. Okay, clear? You have done till now, understood? Now you will mix all the 3 test tubes. You will mix whatever you have put in and then you will wait for how many minutes? 5 minutes. Simple. And then you will calculate the absorbance in 620 nanometer. Clear? Simple? Understood or any doubt? This is very simple, nothing to explain in it more deeply. You raised your hand or what? Any doubt? Clear? No? Okay. Okay, this is very simple actually. This is very, very simple. I'll repeat again. Aim you all know, to determine the albumin in the present sample by BCG method. Principle you all know. Albumin in presence of a buffer medium when reacts with the BCG dye gives you a green colored BCG albumin complex. The color of the intensity of the complex is directly proportional to the amount of albumin that is present in the sample. Very good. Okay. And then there's the equation and then the procedure. Materials required and everything you all write. Okay. You all know what are the materials required. You have been performing tests in so long. Okay. Procedure is what? Procedure will be given with 2 reagents in the albumin kit, L1 and albumin standard. Okay. L1 is the buffer reagent. You will take 3 test tubes, blank, standard and test. Blank one and standard one and test one. 1 ml of BCG L1 reagent in all the 3 test tubes and 10 microliter of distilled water in the blank, 10 microliter of the albumin standard in the standard test tube and 10 microliter of the sample in the test tube. Okay, done. Now you have mixed it. You have waited for 5 minutes. Now you will calculate the optical density in the colorimeter. Now what you will get? You will calculate the optical density. You will get a value. You have the value. Now you will do what? Now serum albumin equals to absorbance of the test divided by the absorbance of the standard multiplied by 4. Okay, clear? This is a simple calculation. In the calcium one, what you did? Multiplied by 10. You remember? But in the albumin one, multiplied by 4. Simple? Okay. Here I have just written this one. Mix for 5 minutes. Measure the absorbance of the standard in the test against the blank. While you write the procedure, you write this one. You include this line also. Now you all know while writing, you will write for the blank also. But while performing, you will only perform for the standard and the test. You directly perform the standard OD and the test OD. You divide these two, multiply by 4, and you get the value of the serum albumin of the given sample by BCG method. Clear? Clear all of you? Okay. Incubation? Incubation time 5 minutes. You don't have to incubate, just wait for 5 minutes, okay? In 620 nanometer wavelength. Alright? Now we will move to the, any doubt here? We have done the procedure part, any doubt? Yes or no? No? Okay. Now we will move to the clinical part. Okay, how many of you have an idea of what albumin does in our body? What role does albumin actually plays in our body? Yes, yes, it balances the osmotic pressure. Yes, capillary osmotic pressure, it balances the capillary osmotic pressure. Now the normal value of serum albumin is 3.5 to 5.5 gram per dl. Okay, when we have less than that, then it is a problem. Hypoalbuminemia is a problem, but we have more protein in our body, that's not actually a problem, it's good only. Now we have more protein in our body, it's good thing, it's not a bad thing, but if there's less protein, it might be a bad thing. Okay, now how it is a bad thing, we will know about it. You have read in physiology about albumin. How does it balances the osmotic pressure? You know this one? Okay, so no need of much explanation is needed over here. Okay, so functions of albumin. Now, plasma protein are of 3 types. You all know it: fibrinogen, globulin, and albumin. You know, no? 3 types of plasma protein are there. Huh? Okay. So, albumin, it is synthesized where? Where it is synthesized in our body? Where is albumin synthesized in our body? Liver. Yes. Albumin is water soluble or insoluble? Soluble. Albumin is water soluble. Yes. So albumin is synthesized in our body and it is water soluble. Now what functions does albumin do? The main function of albumin in our body is to preserve the capillary osmotic pressure. Okay. Capillary osmotic pressure. Now suppose the capillary osmotic pressure is not maintained. There is less albumin in our body. Now what will happen? How will the clinical manifestations take place? What manifestations can you see in a person who have low albumin value in the body? How you can say that no, this person has low hypoalbuminemia? Edema, yes, true, right, edema. How does it happen? Edema. Starling, yes. How does it happen? Fluids from the, yes. How does it decrease? Albumin is, albumin is a large protein in size. They cannot escape the capillary, they cannot go out of the capillary system in our body. Now what happens when there is less albumin in our body? What does they do? The albumin actually sits in the capillary system and pulls water from the fluids from the interstitial cells into the capillary system, right? Now when there is less albumin in the body, the fluids won't get pulled. No, so there will be accumulation of fluid in the interstitial system, right? So there will be edema, and the tissue and the blood vessels, the fluid in the tissue and the blood vessels is not maintained, and there will be more fluid in the interstitial cells than in the capillary cells, and that's how there will be edema. The person will present as edema. Now, you all know about it. Okay, you have an idea, all of you all, or only she has the idea? You all know about it? How does albumin do this thing? Okay. I've written here also, maintenance of the capillary osmotic pressure. Albumin is present in the intravascular compartment, the capillary compartment. Okay, what does it do? Pull water to the interstitial fluid back into the capillaries. So because it is more bigger in size, it cannot escape the capillaries. It sits inside the capillaries and pull water from the compartment into the capillaries. Okay, it preserves the fluid balance exchange between the tissue and the blood vessels. Thus, it maintains the osmotic pressure by drawing fluids. Okay, now when there is less albumin, it cannot do this, and hence there will be more fluid in the extravascular compartments, and then it will result in edema. Okay. And other functions, what are the other functions? Other functions are general functions like transport of drugs and free fatty acids and bilirubin and all of these things. Penicillin is one drug which is transported by albumin in our body. It binds with calcium. We read in calcium part also, no? In calcium unit, in last class calcium we read about it. Calcium binds with albumin, no? Yes, in calcium also it transports drugs, free fatty acids, calcium, bilirubin, etc. Okay, this is also a function. Another is nutritive functions. Of course, we all need protein in our body, don't we? We all need protein in our body, otherwise we'll go into this one kwashiorkor, and all of these diseases might happen if you don't have enough protein in our body. So this is also for nutritive functions. Okay, so you understand this normal physiology of albumin, that it maintains the capillary osmotic pressure, and in low albumin content in our body, this might result in edema. Okay, now hypoalbuminemia. When we have actually less albumin in our body, what are the causes of hypoalbuminemia? How many of you can say? Use your brain, very simple. You all know where is albumin produced in our body? Liver. So any problem in liver will cause what? Will hamper the albumin production, right? So there will be less albumin in our body. So you will see in hepatic patients, patients with liver failure, patient with cirrhosis, they have edema in their legs. They have edema in their legs. No, in renal patients also you will see. In burns, in cases of severe burn injuries, you will see edema. So all these things are hypoalbumin. So we will see point by point, one by one. Decrease in synthesis. Decreased synthesis will result in what? Decreased synthesis is what? Liver disease. Any liver disease will cause eventually decrease in less albumin production, right? Malnutrition. The person is not taking enough protein, less amino acids, and then less albumin production in the body. Okay. Malabsorption. Even there is enough amino acids in our body, but they are not getting absorbed. So there is less albumin production. Simple. So these are the causes of hypoalbuminemia. And another point is increased albumin loss. There is less production. Here is production is good, but there is loss. Albumin is getting lost in our body. How can the albumin get more and more lost in our body? In which conditions? In which conditions? Kidneys aren't functioning, right? Kidneys aren't functioning. In syndromes in kidney, like nephrotic syndrome, what happens in nephrotic syndrome? The glomerular membrane gets devastated, it gets destroyed. It cannot hold the albumin enough in our body. The albumins get more and more excreted in urine, proteinuria. No? In CKD patients, in nephrotic syndrome patients, there are proteinuria. What is the protein that is getting excreted in such patients? Albumin. Albumin is getting, you'll often hear patients with CKD or nephrotic syndrome, they will complain that they have frothy urine. Have you heard about it? Have you heard about it? CKD patients, kidney patients, they say we have frothy urine. When we go to the washroom and use the washroom, we see frothy urine. What is this frothy urine? Proteinuria. Albumin is getting excreted from their body. How is this albumin getting excreted? Because their glomerular function is not adequate. They have nephrotic syndrome, their glomerulus is not working. The albumin is getting excreted from their body, and they have proteinuria. Okay. Then GI, in our GI tract. GI tract, this is protein losing enteropathy. In diseases like Crohn's disease, have you heard about the disease Crohn's? Have you heard the name of Crohn's? You will hear when you go to second year in pathology. Crohn's. What? CHRONS. Crohn's disease. Okay. Crohn's disease. In diseases like Crohn's disease, interstitial lymphoma, in all these diseases, there is less absorption of albumin, and there is more loss of albumin from our GI tract. The GI tract cannot reabsorb albumin, and there is a lot of excretion, albumin loss from our GI tract in such diseases. These are protein losing enteropathy. You don't need to remember the name of Crohn's and everything. If you don't, just remember this one, protein losing enteropathy. The GI tract cannot hold much albumin, and there's albumin loss from our GI tract. Don't, just for your knowledge purpose, I've written these names. Crohn's and interstitial lymphoma, you do not have to answer these questions in front of the examiner. They'll ask you then what is Crohn's, and then you will not be able to answer, you know, then there will be another tragedy. So don't say all these names in front of the examiner which you can't answer. Say only those names confidently which you know, which you are sure about, and then you answer. Because if you say Crohn's, then he'll say, oh, what is Crohn's? Say, you'll not be able to say, then he'll fail you. No, not fail you, like, you know, he'll get a bad impression. So do not say such words which you are not sure about. Just for your knowledge, I've written this one. Remember, protein losing enteropathy, such conditions where there is albumin loss from our GI tract. So kidney, you know, GI tract, you know, skin, burn, sepsis. What happens in burns and sepsis? Capillary permeability is increased. In normal conditions, the albumin could not cross the capillary level. No, the albumin could not come out of the capillary system. No, in burns and in sepsis, the capillary permeability is increased. The albumin can actually go out of the capillary system and bind with the water and get excreted through urine. In conditions like burns and sepsis and all of these things. Understood? All these conditions increases the capillary permeability. So the albumin moves out of the capillary system in normal conditions, which it couldn't. Okay? And increased volume. When we have more volume in our body, volume overload. Like in CHF, cardiac failure patients, they have volume overload. Like, or more IV fluid, like you have diarrhea or something, or any condition, maybe someone has pancreatitis or any conditions, or dengue. In all these conditions, we treat patients with volume therapy. So if someone has volume overload in their body, amount of albumin is limited, and there's large amount of volume, water in our bodies, and so the albumin will get what? It will get diluted, so there will be less albumin in our body compared to water. So in such cases also, hypoalbuminemia can occur. Okay, volume overload. In CHF patients, in pregnancy is a high volumic state, hypervolumic state. All the fluids in our body gets increased in pregnancy. No, in such cases also hypoalbuminemia can occur. Pregnant women often have proteinuria in their blood when they have eclampsia and preeclampsia like syndromes. You have heard about these terms, eclampsia and preeclampsia? Okay, we'll hear when you read OBG. So in preeclampsia and eclampsia, all these things, pregnancy, they have proteinuria in their urine. Okay, so in pregnancy is a high volume state, hypervolumic state. In such cases also hypovolemia can occur. Okay, and CHF and IV fluid overload and all of these things, hypervolemia states, less albumin can be there in our body because of volume overload. Okay, understood hypovolemia, all the reasons, all the causes? Understood? Any doubt? Okay. Hyperalbuminemia. Now, hyperalbuminemia is not something to be concerned about, because if we actually have more and more protein in our body, it's good for our health. No, is it a matter of concern if we have more protein in our body? No, not na. All of us, we are being advised to take more and more protein in our diet. No, double the weight of our body to include protein in our diet. So hyperalbuminemia is not a very toxic state. It's not a very thing that we should be concerned about. We should think that, you know, we have hypervolemia, then hyperalbuminemia, then what should we do? No, it's not a thing that should be concerned about. But how can someone have hyperalbuminemia? How can someone have that? Dehydration. Here was volume overload. More volume in our body, there was less albumin. Dehydration, less volume in our body, so albumin content increases with respect to water. Okay, fair enough? Logical enough? Okay. Fluid loss, there's fluid loss. Okay, someone is in shock, or maybe shock doesn't, shock is not a great example, because if a person is in shock, we will not treat the albumin cause, we will treat other causes. But fluid loss, maybe someone has diarrhea or third space fluid loss in something like that. So there's less fluid in our body, so dehydrated body. So someone then the person might have more albumin in the body, because the ratio of the water and the albumin will be what? Water will be less and protein will be more. Then hyperalbuminemia might occur. protein intake. Someone is actually taking more and more protein in their diet through supplements or through diet or whatever, then they'll have eventually more protein in their body, more albumin in their body. Okay, so these are the causes hyperalbuminemia can occur, which is not a matter of concern, but if it becomes a matter of concern, then we can treat the underlying causes and get rid of it. Okay, main is hypoalbuminemia. All these terms and conditions and causes you need to know. Okay, clear all of you? Done? Understood? Okay, now you can move to the lab.
extra load नहीं इससे only one group at a time है ना pipetting के सिर्फ